According to most studies, people's number one fear is public speaking. Number two is death. Now this means to the average person, if you have to go to a funeral, you're better off in the casket than doing the eulogy.
That is my favourite clip on public speaking, of course, from Seinfeld. And he's right, public speaking is one of the most common fears in the world, with up to 90% of the population dreading getting up in front of an audience. So what factors make a truly great speaker, and how can we overcome any fears?
I have a dream.
All attempts to destroy democracy.
We are ready to lead once more.
There are some who are just born with the gift of the gab, and others who aren't.
One and only Adele Dazeem.
As one of the first public figures to harness the power of YouTube, Barack Obama's captivating speeches have been made more accessible than any US president before him, cementing his place as one of the greatest speakers of our generation.
My fellow Americans, we are made for this moment, and we will seize it so long as we seize it together.
Activists like Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King Jr. inspired the world with their appeals for equality and justice.
I have a dream today.
Julia Gillard's misogyny speech has notched up over 2.5 million views online and now ranks among one of the most famous political speeches in history.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not.
And while many orators rely on speechwriters and auto-cue, they're not fail-proof. As Hollywood director Michael Bay discovered, the consequences can be dire.
I try to take people on an emotional ride. And, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it can happen to any of us. For this week's Spotlight, we're joined by corporate speaker and author of How to Get Out of the Rut Race, Phil Schibeci, and psychologist and communication expert Claire Mann. Terrific to talk to you both. Claire, let's start with you. Up to 90% of people fear public speaking more than death. That is an extraordinary figure. Why? Why so much anxiety?
Well, it's almost this sense, I think, of being found out. We don't want to feel stupid. We don't want to be humiliated. So people will go to great lengths to try and avoid that. And they would prefer to be actually in the funeral themselves and actually speaking.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Phil, you yourself used to get nervous before public speaking, and now you hold workshops on it. That's quite a turnaround. What qualities have you developed in yourself to make you, to make you a truly great speaker?
Yeah, great question, Monique. Well, the truth about it is I still get nerves, and everyone does. And you actually need to get nervous before a presentation because you need that energy. The difference is not focusing on the nerves or the fear, is focusing on what your message is. And that's what I do, and that's what I teach people. Like those clips you just showed, those people were focusing on what the message was that they wanted to deliver to their audience.
Are people born with that gift? We're just seeing Barack Obama there. How much of it is learned and how much of it is genetic?
Well, yeah, everyone's different, but from my experience, well, I'm an introvert, take that, and I do this for a living. So I believe everyone can learn it, and I've taught a lot of introverts, a lot of extroverts, and yes, I think everyone can learn this skill.
And why is it important in terms of life skills and getting jobs and so on? Public speaking comes into things a lot.
It definitely does, Monique, and it's important because, well, you take an expert, right? They're an expert in their field, but if they can't communicate their expertise, then no one's going to know about it. So that's what makes it important, and that goes across into interviews, job promotions, even asking someone out on a date. If you can put your fear aside and just do it. So yeah, across all areas of life.
Claire, as a psychologist, what are some of the treatment options that are open to people? It's really about confidence, isn't it? Or faking it till you make it?
Well, I prefer act it till you are it.
Yeah, love it.
But in many ways, people have panic attacks over this sort of thing, is high levels of anxiety. So the standard treatments that would refer to those people and be relevant could be applicable here. Learning to breathe properly, of course. There's some visualizations, there's neuro-linguistic programming, all sorts of things where people who truly want to make a difference in their speaking can do so.
Or maybe just listen to Claire with those beautiful, relaxed, dulcet tones. I'm relaxed as listening to you. Phil, you've got some tips as well to help people at public speaking. What are they?
Yeah, great. The first one is be passionate about your topic, whatever it is you're talking about, whether it's a wedding speech, a corporate presentation. Find some interest, something that you're interested in that topic so that you own it and you're passionate about it. Second tip is be clear what your message is. What is it you want to leave the audience with? What is it you want to get across to the audience? And focus on that. That'll help a long way with overcoming the fear. Then we get into the structure. The important thing is to know how you're going to start. Memorise the first few words of your presentation. I like to start with a question, like ask the audience if it's on public speaking, how many of you have ever been uncomfortable in front of an audience, and get the audience engaged. That takes the heat off me, the presenter. The next thing is just 3 simple bullet points. Don't write the whole speech out. Don't try to memorise the whole speech. Just have 3 simple bullet points that you want to cover, and then know how you're going to finish. Know what words you're going to use at the very end so you can finish on a high and make it a really punchy conclusion.
Boom, clunk. That is finishing on a high. Thank you very much, Phil and Claire. Terrific to speak to you both, and best of luck to anyone that's got to do some public speaking anytime soon. Thank you.